Cinema Classics is sponsored by the Gateway Film Center and is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. You can listen to shows online at WCBE.org. I'm Johnny DiLoretto.
I'm John DeSando.
This is Cinema Classics.
It sure is.
Finally, I can't believe we haven't talked about this movie before.
I'll tell you something. I thought I saw Midnight Run 30 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't.
You didn't.
And I've been listening to you yak about it
It's
for
one of my
20 years.
One of my favorite movies.
And I'm saying, all right, I'm calling this guy.
I've probably seen this movie 30 times.
This is on. Now it came onto Netflix. So I'm right there. Happy camper.
Yeah.
I turn it on.
Now we're talking about it because Charles Grodin died recently, right?
Well, no, I'm talking about
Why are
it
we
because
talking
it
about it?
was just last week put on to Netflix.
Okay.
And because it was your movie,
Yeah.
I had to see it.
So
and you are.
I can't wait to have this conversation with you. Because okay, first of all, tell me about your experience watching
All right,
this movie.
my first, I just had this thought. This is something that you would have thought Martin Scorsese could have done,
Yeah.
but it is different. There's a different feel to it from anything that he has.
Yeah.
And I don't know Martin Brest's work that
Beverly
well.
Hills Cop.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So he's done Light Fare. But this was Robert De Niro. And my first reaction to you was it was De Niro playing De Niro.
Yes, it is. Now, I will say this to you. I'm curious what you think about
Yeah.
this. To me, now I have seen this movie so many times I feel the lived-inness of that performance.
Yeah.
To me, it is one of his top 5 greatest performances.
Oh, without question.
Okay.
Yeah, without question. It's the one he was made for. He reins himself in so beautifully. And when you think of other films he's been in where he really does his macho Italian thing,
Yeah.
he doesn't, but he has it. You know it's there.
Right.
And then
And there's something not Italian about this performance.
exactly.
You know, he is playing Jack Walsh. So he does, it's more working class, blue collar, tough
sure
guy.
is. It sure is. And then, and I always say this, God bless the casting people.
Yeah.
Putting Charles Grodin against him.
Well, you know, there are lots of stories about that. You know, they went through, at one point, it was going to be Robin Williams. And you can imagine, see, right off the bat, you say that, as great as Robin Williams is,
Yeah, right.
you say that, and Midnight Run is no longer Midnight Run. Cher at one point. They were going to do it with Cher.
Yeah.
Also, it just kind of so fundamentally alters the dynamic there that it's no longer what it is, right? First of all, I would say that Charles Grodin gives one of the great screen comedy performances of all time in this movie.
I was just.
Do you agree?
Oh, I agree. And what he does, he so brilliantly plays counter to De Niro. So he plays it deadpan, kind of almost as if he's in awe of this guy who's taking him in, and it's all mix of things going on in my butt. I saw a clip of it again, and I thought to myself, somebody was calling this his favorite scene of all time.
Okay.
And it's the one where they get the $20 bills.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Holy God!
Yeah.
And I'm watching Grodin in that. He's perfect.
And in that scene, the dynamic changes, right? Because Jack, De Niro's Jack, kind of takes back seat to Grodin's con artistry there, and it's this beautiful interplay. This to me is the buddy comedy movie of all time.
You got it.
It is the greatest movie.
So you're saying better than Butch?
You know, in some ways, yes. I have to say yes because of, well, you know, and this is something that Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid does right too. It doesn't shortchange you on the humanity.
No, and
there's some really beautiful. One of my favorite scenes is the scene where they stop in Chicago to visit the ex-wife, and the daughter comes out, and the daughter tries to give him her babysitting money.
Yeah,
It is such a beautifully played scene, and there's this little gesture. I don't know if you noticed it, but De Niro says, "I can't take the money."
Yeah.
And as he puts Grodin in the car, his coat is sticking out of the car. He picks his coat up and puts it in the car before he shuts the door. And it's not a frustrated. It is a definitely humane. It's a humane gesture on his part.
I agree. And one of the things I think where it's superior to Butch Cassidy is that there's a certain evenness about Butch Cassidy.
Mhm.
We always know who these two characters are, and they're always complementing each other.
Yes, that I guess that's the right, and that's the beauty part of that movie is that I think we've fallen into this trope with the buddy comedy movie where they have to be opposites. Now that works to a great degree here, but they come together, right? But most of them trade in on that kind of trope, that easy trope. The beauty part of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is that they are kind of dynamically complementing each other's performances.
And you know, there's a certain unbelievability about it.
Of course.
There's almost any moment where Grodin could have walked away practically.
Right.
And he doesn't.
Yeah.
And I find that the most charming part of this is that he actually is enjoying
Yeah.
being taken in
For sure.
by this guy because he just kind of captures his spirit, takes it into himself, and these two guys really are buddies, even though he's in handcuffs.
Mhm.
And I understand. I was reading that De Niro is such a method actor.
Yeah.
He made him wear metal.
Right, handcuffs, yeah. His
So-
wrists were
So
he was
that he
in
could-
real pain.
Yeah, the real pain.
One other thing I want to say about this movie before we go. I was trying to think before we had this conversation of what makes Midnight Run relevant today. And what I would say is, here you have two very different people with very different ideas about life, right? One is entrenched in this sort of blue-collar, tough guy mentality. The other is a more forward-thinking sort of guy, New York guy, right? He can see all the angles, right? And he sees the bigger picture. How are they going to make it work, right? It seemed like such a perfect metaphor for our cultural moment. How do you change somebody who's unwilling to change,
Oh, yeah.
right? You change them through, humanity, interaction, engagement, friendship, because at the end of the movie, it's not an easy change. De Niro's Jack character goes through, he does some pretty horrible things to the Duke along the way.
But his acts of kindness, one which you with the daughter
Yeah.
that you cited, and the final act, which to me is unexpected but yet expected.
Mhm.
That is, he's been revealing his softer side throughout, and Grodin it gives a big gesture to him, and that's a kind of a surprise. And then you've got Jack really being warm, and they're actually buddying, like if they could embrace, they would in the modern sense.
Yeah.
I just love the way those characters develop, and that they are attracted to each other the way we are attracted to them as actors and as characters. We don't want them to go.
Yeah,
we want
right.
this. We want another episode.
It's got
of this.
that classic feeling of
Oh.
sadness afterwards, right?
Yeah.
They've parted ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's great. Midnight Run.
Looks like I'm walking.